Howdy, do you remember Lego? Yeah, sorry, that was a really dumb thing to ask you. But the point is that Lego's been around for a good portion of many people's childhoods. And during that time, they produced 15,824 different sets. So, you know, a few buckets full. But sometimes these sets have ended up with backlash, and may have even been removed from distribution altogether. And today, I thought we could have some fun looking back at these. So let's check out the 10 banned or controversial Lego sets. I'll try my best to explain why these controversies happened as best I can. And of course, if the subject is serious, I'll do my best to show respect. And if you do have a personal opinion on these controversies, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. Anyway, on to the countdown. For number 10, the LEGO Simpsons set. Back in 2014, LEGO planned to launch a Simpsons-themed LEGO set. Because, well, it's a Simpsons. It's easy to list what they don't brand in merchandise rather than what they do.
Look for a winning Simpsons video game for every system.
Don't forget Krusty's Funhouse.
However, some LEGO fans were fuming mad over this. In fact, petitions were started on message boards, calling on LEGO to avoid any Simpsons-themed toys. To quote one message, they said, "I say no to LEGO Simpsons. Simpsons is not appropriate for LEGO-themed audiences. It's not really appropriate for anyone." End quote. Really? 2014 was a very different time, wasn't it? Nowadays in 2021, some people consider modern Simpsons too tame and boring for adults. Certainly compared to a lot of other adult animated shows out there anyway.
Alright, get moving, Profile.
Profile? I'm not a profile.
Ignore.
I mean, unlike a lot of adult animated shows, not every single character is miserable. Nowadays, that's actually kind of refreshing for me. Anyway, apparently some people started thinking LEGO was becoming too violent and angry, which puzzled me to hear, so I dug a little deeper and I did find an interesting study. A New Zealand research paper found that, compared to previous years, today's LEGO characters are looking increasingly angry and carrying more weapons than ever. And while this might be true, I personally think this has to do with society and culture changing over decades, not just LEGO. But I'm certainly no expert on the subject, and if you have an opinion on it, I'd love to hear it in the comments. Anyway, in the end, as you can probably guess, LEGO Simpsons can now be found in every direction you look. They even had their own separate expansion in the LEGO game, LEGO Dimensions. And I think it's important to point out, a good portion of LEGO fans were really excited to see Simpsons come to LEGO. One fan even stated, "It's about time, they're already the right shade of yellow." And indeed they are. And for number 9, the LEGO V-22 Osprey. LEGO has always had a strong policy of never building anything that is used specifically for war. And given how many helicopters and vehicles they've released, I'm guessing that must be difficult to keep track of. In this case, the set was cancelled before it could even be released. You see, this tilt-rotor aircraft known as the Osprey is used by the US Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and Japanese self-defense forces. So there was no way LEGO could claim it was a search and rescue machine. It was a war machine or a peacekeeping machine. Before the V-22 could be released, the German Peace Society issued a warning against LEGO releasing the licensed V-22. Their concern was that even though LEGO had rebranded it Search and Rescue, with the military license on the set, customers were potentially helping to finance arms companies. So just 10 days before the vehicle was meant to be released to retailers, LEGO suddenly pulled the V-22 release from all stores. In their official statement for why, LEGO said, quote, "The LEGO Bell Being V-22 Osprey was designed to highlight the important role it plays in search and rescue efforts. While the set is intended for search and rescue, the aircraft is only used by the military. We have a long-standing policy to not create sets that use real military vehicles. So we decided not to release this product. We think it's important to uphold our brand values." End quote. And I don't know why LEGO sounds like Nixon. And this is nothing new to LEGO's policy either. In fact, they started this non-military policy way back in 1950. And if you look back at the original 1950s LEGO colors, you couldn't actually get grey bricks because they thought grey could be used to make tanks and such. And I think that's pretty neat. Number 8. LEGO Jabba's Palace. Jabba's Palace? Really? Well, I'll explain it as best I can. Basically, a Turkish community forum complained to LEGO that Jabba's Palace set resembled a mosque in Istanbul, and that the character Jabba the Hutt resembles a terrorist? Really? I thought Jabba was a crime lord, according to Star Wars lore anyway. But these particular people in this community claimed LEGO of racism. They thought the LEGO set might offend Muslims, and it was purposely made to look like the mosque in Istanbul. But really, I think that's an insult to the Hagia Sophia. That thing's beautiful compared to Jabba's palace. It's a world-renowned mosque. Now, while I realize I give the limited perspective of a well-off white male, I've always personally seen Jabba as a less cultured version of the Godfather. He's the slimy head of a cultural crime ring, but that's just me. Apparently, some people in the Australian Turkish cultural community also accused LEGO of depicting Asians as having deceitful and criminal personalities. What? Do you suppose they mean the Twilight dancers? I thought they were just an expression of the objectification of women to make Jabba look more slimy. They show he's a jerk, it makes us want to see Leia take him out more. The group then released a statement calling for an apology from LEGO for cultural insensitivity. Anyway, LEGO denied any link and said the set was based on, shocker, the Star Wars movies. You know, the name of the title and the board. I guess it was just an unhappy accident? LEGO's response was, quote, "We regret that the product has caused the members of the Turkish cultural community to come to a wrong interpretation, but point out that when designing the product, only the fictional content of the Star Wars saga was referred to."
Oh, that's clever.
Now obviously, I'm not a Turkish person, so I can't know if this LEGO set is particularly offensive to some people. But it did make me think, shouldn't they be complaining to George Lucas for how he originally depicted Jabba's palace in 1983? He's retired with billions of dollars. He's got time to have a debate with the Turkish cultural community. And I think it's important to point out this was just a select group from the Turkish community. On the internet too, where everything is exacerbated. And I'm sure there's a good portion of the Turkish community that didn't really care about a LEGO Star Wars set. And for number 7, the LEGO Explore Super Truck. This one is pretty straightforward. Basically, all the LEGO Explore Super Trucks had to be recalled due to a puncture hazard. LEGO received more than 10 reports of the Super Truck wheels coming off, leaving us with a big nasty metal axle. Apparently, 2 kids received serious puncture injuries because of these metal axles. And who in their right mind actually puts metal axles on LEGO Duplo? That stuff's either going to be smashed or in someone's mouth. There's no in between. It seems about as smart as when Krusty the Clown started putting jagged metal Crustios inside his cereal. Number 6. The LEGO Shell Sets. Do you remember back in 2014? I know, it was a simpler time, wasn't it? But you might recall at some Shell stations, you could get Shell-branded LEGO on the shelves. For a while, these LEGO Shell sets were all the rage. But Greenpeace was less than pleased. Why? Well, Shell was planning to explore the Arctic to drill for oil, and Greenpeace felt LEGO was affiliating itself with this very controversial decision by making Shell-branded LEGO sets. In fact, Greenpeace released a viral video that showed dead LEGO animals in the Arctic as they were flooded by oil, with a less than subtle sad song playing in the background. In the end, Greenpeace was successful in their campaign, and LEGO ended their partnership with Shell. And while I appreciated Greenpeace trying to encourage pro-climate action, I just felt this ad was a bit emotionally manipulative. And I don't think boycotting Shell actually got to the root of the problem that oil still powers many of our cars. LEGO's original response to Greenpeace was that, "We want to deal directly with Shell." But eventually, as I said, they did relent due to public concern. Interestingly though, this partnership has apparently been going on for many years before this. One news article I read said the partnership went back as far as 1960. Anyway, it's a very complex issue. Personally, I'd love to see Shell invest in more of their renewable energy projects like the Gungari Solar Project. That thing looks awesome. And for number 5, the Mr. Gold LEGO minifigure. Greed doesn't always bring out the best in some people. Back in 2010, LEGO got the brilliant idea to turn some of their minifigures into limited collectibles. And each series of 16 or so minifigures would come in a little mystery blind bag where you could get a random minifigure. So every LEGO minifigure was a little collectible lottery. What could possibly go wrong? Well, in 2013, to hype up LEGO collectors even more, LEGO introduced a very limited amount of the unique, dreaded Mr. Gold minifigure. You know, a bit like the Golden Ticket campaign with Wonka. And oh boy, with only 5,000 existing, many people really wanted this minifigure.
Oh my gosh, here he is, Mr. Gold. Oh my gosh.
It probably didn't help that scalpers on eBay could easily sell one of these for at least $1,000 a piece. Demand was so overwhelming for these little golden trinkets that people even started producing fake ones to sell on eBay. Thus, the notorious chaos of Mr. Gold began. To put it in perspective for you, across the world there are far more than 5,000 determined LEGO completionists. With only 5,000 genuine Mr. Golds in existence, how would they ever complete their collection? What was the point anymore if their collection was missing one tiny fake gold minifigure? In all seriousness, having OCD myself, I can certainly empathize with this frustration. But things only got worse from here. Sadly, this ridiculously high rarity led to mass greed and corruption. Prior to putting them on shelves, some store employees would fill up bags to look for Mr. Gold minifigures, and sometimes they just snitch it themselves before even putting it on the shelf. Well, yeah, I guess it does make sense that LEGO enthusiasts are in fact working at the LEGO store. Anyway, some customers would even buy entire cases of the blind LEGO bags, only to return all of them if they didn't find a Mr. Gold. Not exactly a classy tactic, huh? Many collectors believe this was one of LEGO's worst ideas, and personally I can agree on that. When finally the chaos was over and the public sat licking their wounds, LEGO looked over the fires and ashes and said, "Good. The dark side is strong." Nah, I'm just joshing you. They also thought it was a disaster. As far as I've seen after this, LEGO never ever did another limited edition character in the minifigures line. In fact, you can't find a single mention of the LEGO Mr. Gold minifigure on the website. Both LEGO and many collectors wanted to forget that Mr. Gold ever existed. Good on them. But before we move on, let's just see how much this little devil is worth in 2021. Well, let's see. Holy cow, $5,000 to $7,000. That's a freaking house deposit, not a LEGO piece. Number 4. LEGO Friends. Yowza, where to begin with the controversy these LEGO ladies have caused? Well, to start with, personally, I've always seen LEGO as a more universal product. I guess it could be seen as a guy's product, but that being said, I saw plenty of girls playing with LEGO as a kid, not just guys. You know, it's LEGO, it's to be built by any age or any gender that wants to. But the controversy rose in 2012 when LEGO started producing the LEGO Friends line.
New LEGO Friends. Welcome to beautiful Heart Lake City.
A LEGO set of pink slim girls doing cupcakes and tea parties and shopping and that sort of jazz.
I'm Stephanie. I'm going to a party at the new cafe with my friend Olivia.
A lot of that sort of female-branded, stereotypical stuff. And while I don't think complainers saw anything wrong with tea parties and cupcakes, I think they wanted a little more variety for young women. In the US and UK particularly, campaign groups are upset by the overuse of pink and the more stereotypical female activities the characters would be given. For example, at the forefront of the campaign was the group Pink Stinks, which I actually feel has a pretty cool name. Their comments included, "We want toys that offer many opportunities to children, not just cupcakes and parties."
Do you want to swim? Nice idea, Andrea. Let's build the pool.
But the controversy didn't stop there. Then there was a petition by the Spark movement. They managed over 50,000 signatures pushing LEGO to change their marketing strategy. But LEGO seemed to know they were sitting on a gold mine and held their ground. In addition, some eating order specialists had concerns about how incredibly slim some of these LEGO Friends minifigures were. LEGO Friends even got nominated for a Worst Toy Toady Award. Toady standing for toys that are oppressive and destructive to young children. Hoo ha 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 ha. Yeah, it has got a C on the end. I guess it should be the Toady C Awards. You know, Toadique. Anyway, the organization went on to say that LEGO Friends was so jam-packed with stereotypes that it'd make Barbie blush.
All the pets are doing great at the vet. New LEGO Friends.
And the criticism continued, with people noticing how significantly less complicated these LEGO Friends sets were. LEGO's response was that, quote, "We don't see anything wrong with the natural ways that children are choosing to play. We try to be gender inclusive," end quote. My guess is critics are wanting LEGO to break stereotypes through education, rather than pandering to the toy line pink aisle stereotypes. LEGO's gold mine speculations paid off though. Despite despite the controversy, LEGO Friends was a downright massive success. In fact, LEGO's net profits rose by 35% that year. And when you're dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, that's a lot of scratch. In fact, LEGO Friends was so astoundingly successful that other block companies like Mega Bloks introduced girl dolls as well. Over the years, sales in the LEGO Friends department continued to skyrocket. And in the end, LEGO Friends is one of the most successful LEGO lines the company's ever had. And for number 3, the LEGO Assault on Hoth set. When LEGO brands something the ultimate collector's set, they are directly reaching out to their adult fans. And when you're asking for adult LEGO fans' money, they're probably going to scrutinize a little bit more than the kids if you don't put some care into that LEGO production. And I can say, fans hated this set to no end. It was perhaps the most negatively received LEGO set in the company's history. According to critics, almost every section of this set was rife with issues. Some critics even felt cheated because this Hoth set was such a mess. People even complained the box artwork was a mess. And who can blame them? The set is strewn out like a bomb went off. Even the instructions requested that builders combine the set with discontinued LEGO products. People weren't pleased because they could see corners were cut, and a general lack of care was put into this fairly expensive Star Wars set. Number 2. In June 2020, LEGO pulled back on their marketing and product listing for a certain kind of playset.
At Lego City Police Station, the crooks are breaking out!
Yeah, you can probably guess. Up to that point, LEGO police sets had always been, very common. They were a dime a dozen. That is, until 2020. You may remember the tragedy with George Floyd occurred, and many Black Lives Matter protests were happening all over the globe. So amid these protests, LEGO tugged on their collars and removed marketing and product listing for LEGO police playsets, patrol cars, criminal minifigures, fire stations, even the LEGO White House was removed. Suddenly, LEGO police handcuffs were just harder to come by. Even now, I tried looking up some of the original June listings on the LEGO website, but I was just greeted with a big 404 page and Emmett looking dismayed at me. Toy Book wanted more information though, so they reached out to LEGO requesting more information. And the LEGO spokesperson response was, quote, "We requested that our affiliate partners refrain from posting LEGO promotional content as part of our decision to respect Blackout Tuesday and pause posting content on our social media channels in response to the tragic events in the US. We regret any misunderstanding and will ensure we are clearer about our intentions in the future." And honestly, if supporting Blackout Tuesday was LEGO's goal, good on them for standing with people to stand against racism and police brutality. And without a doubt, the number 1 LEGO controversy is Konzentrationslager. So, back in 1996, LEGO accidentally sponsored a particular LEGO artistic project for a museum exhibit. Polish artist Zbigniew Libera's depiction of a LEGO Nazi concentration camp for display in the Jewish Museum of New York. I gotta say, LEGO and Nazis is 2 words I didn't think I'd be using in the same sentence, and I hope to never again. Funnily enough, depicting LEGO genocide made some people particularly uncomfortable. So the story is that Zbigniew, forgive me, I'm an uncultured idiot, so I'm just going to call him by his last name, Libera. So to reiterate, Libera made a fully packaged LEGO project for the museum. Originally, LEGO was happy to sponsor it, not realizing what they were sponsoring. Or they were sponsoring the fake package sets of the LEGO Auschwitz camp. And very quickly, LEGO was deeply regretting saying this work of Zbigniew Libera was sponsored by LEGO. But I will note on the package, this was not a case where they said they proudly sponsored his work. Originally, LEGO requested that Libera not show the LEGO set to public, though eventually they did drop the matter altogether. But as you can imagine, this gave LEGO some very bad press. And I imagine there were very many explanations from them that they did not request Libera or commission him to make this set. As you can imagine, some people were kind of split on the artistic value of this exhibit project. Some people felt it was trivializing the experience of people in Nazi camps, which is completely understandable perspective. And I gotta say, there's something kind of uncanny about seeing toys from your childhood turned into a representation of one of the most horrific events in human history. For example, the skeletons that came from Lego Pirates were used for prisoners. For a while, the Jewish Museum of New York put these sets in an exhibit of Nazi imagery of modern art. And to me personally, I interpret this art as a powerful expression being sent to those who see it. And I definitely understand that debate on whether this message should be sent through Lego pieces or not. But obviously, this was not made with the younger collectors in mind. It's an artistic expression using Lego pirate skeletons, very Ugh. This existed. This is by far the most controversial Lego set Lego, albeit accidentally, ever sponsored. No question, no challenge whatsoever. The most controversial. This was one of the most uncomfortable things for me to ever talk about. So, as you can probably see, Lego's had a lot of versatility over the decades. And do you personally have any favorite Lego sets, games, or shows? I'd say some of my personal favorites would be the Lego Movie 2, the Lego Ninjago show, and Lego Star Wars. A lot of these shows and games give me a little smile and a little inspiration whenever I need it. Or if you've got your own thoughts on how Lego and people handle these controversies, I'd really enjoy knowing. Feel free to leave your own thoughts in the comments below. Our community has a lot of varied opinions, and I'm personally looking forward to hearing how Lego affected people growing up, or even now. But anyway, please take care of yourself and each other. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.